Going to be reinstalling the center drive shaft for 2009 Ford Escape. You need all four wheels off the ground, and reinstalling it, we'll show you how to take it off since I already took it out. You need all four tires off the ground to be able to turn the drivetrain so you can line up the bolts to bolt them on. So this is the rear, there's the rear wheels. There's 4 bolts there. There's 2 for the center main bearing that attach to the frame, plus one more bolt for the safety strap. And there's, as far as I remember, 2, 4, either 6 or 8 towards the front. The hardest part about taking it out is this part here. This goes into a receiving end like a cup, and it sort of rusts right here. So you just got, once you take out the bolts, it's got to bang it or tap it out. Reinstalling it, probably put anti-seize here. And this goes into the front area, so that will be better to get that in first, because it's recessed cup that it goes into. It's going to be hard to film it, but I'll try my best. Now I have 2 jacks on the other side of the car, jack stands, and here I have 2 jacks. The tires are on. It's pretty stable. I'm shaking it. And I don't have 2 big jack stands. I have 2 but not 4, but since I'm not taking off the tires, if both of these have to fail, but if they fail, I'm on the ground. I'm not using a creeper, so I don't see any danger. The only reason why it's up is to get all 4 tires off so they can spin as I reinstall the bolts. So there's 6 bolts with brackets. These are the brackets. They go right through, come at the other end, attach to the receiving end onto the car, part of the drivetrain. So there's 6 of these for the front. These are 2 to retain the main center bearing to the frame, and there's 4 for the rear. And this is the hardest part, trying to remove it. So this goes into a little lip. So I'm going to put some anti-seize there just in case if I have to remove it again. And to reinstall, it's better to put this in first because it has to go in. And that is basically flush fit to the receiving end. And I'm going to keep them up on a couple of jack stands while I put it in. Now you could take out, separate this shaft from the other shaft. It's 4 little 8mm bolts you got to remove. These are just caps. They come off, and you could just put this 1/2 in first in place, keep it up on a jack, and then put the other part in. I'm going to venture doing the whole shaft at once, since that's the way I took it out. So there's the front receiving end. Just going to put some anti-seize around that lip. And one side here on the jack stand. And it's going to go to the back part there. And this I've orientated to screw into the frame. And there's the 2 bolts, studs that come off the frame. There's one, and the other one's on the other side there. So what I'm going to try to do is put the front end into the cup, lift it up, and maybe try to get 1 bolt into the center main bearing support. But it's not heavy, but with one hand trying to lift it up, it's quite heavy. And those bolts that go to the front for the transmission are Torx. Can't remember the size. I'll post it here on the video. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, got the front part in first. Didn't line up the holes yet. And I was able to start by hand the bracket that supports the center bearing. And the back still on the jack, lined up for the rear so you can do it. It wasn't that hard to get it up. So once you get the center main bearing bracket on, should be easy. Now I made alignment marks when I removed it, which, unless you're separating it from the main bearing, the 2 halves, they have to be lined up. For them to be lined up to the front end, don't think it matters because it's not bounced with that on. But I did make alignment marks, and I'll try to get it where it was in the first place. Okay. So there's my old alignment marks. And it's easy to get this to go here. Just to turn it and line it up. And just start to bolt by hand. So I got all the bolts lined up, and with the transmission in neutral, you can turn the whole thing to get to each of the bolts, and the bolts go right through to the other side here. So the other hole there, you can try to line it up, and at the back end, if I can get here, I lifted up the jack and got it to basically, whoop, I'll fall on my head, line this up. Okay, it's all done. Got the main bearing, those bolts are pretty big. I'll post the sides, can't remember offhand. And the, around to my light. And the rear is done too. And it's nice to have all the 4 wheels off, so you can turn the shaft to get to each bolt. And I also got the, where is it? Safety strap in there. That was a 13 mil. And the rear bolts for the shaft were 12 millimeters. And that's it. Back to 4-wheel drive for the winter. It didn't save much gas, so I'll probably keep it on even for the summer. And I did do the U-joints about a year ago. So, it's done. Take it easy.